Welcome to Hidden Empires, the channel that uncovers the untold stories of self-made billionaires. From toy sellers to tech visionaries, from forgotten failures to global empires, we reveal the strategies, risks, and turning points that built fortunes.
My guest today is known as the Candy King of Turkey. And when you look at his sweet empire, it's hard not to agree with that nickname. But his story is more than just candy. It's a masterclass in how to build a business and how to adapt when your industry gets shaken up by unexpected events. Welcome to Hidden Billionaire Empires. Our person of interest today is Murat Ülker. He went to Boğaziçi University, which is one of the top universities in Turkey, and he studied business. So he comes from a very interesting place. His family had a business making biscuits in Turkey, so he kind of learned the trade from the ground up. And then he went to university. So he started this company called Yıldız Holding, and basically what he did is he rolled up all these global confectionery or snack brands, and he bought them and brought them under the umbrella of his holding company. Then he would license those brands and sell them throughout the world. Many of these are iconic brands, include Godiva, which is the chocolatier, but also brands like Dima, which makes savory snacks, and the United Biscuits brand, which makes cookies and biscuits. And all told, he has somewhere between 60 and 80 different brands that he licenses. He has been a really successful entrepreneur, and his business today does about $20 billion of revenue, and he has got 25,000 employees around the world. The question is, how did he do it? Let's find out. So we know that the company is called Yıldız Holding, and the main shareholder is Murat and his family. They own about 75% of the company, and the rest is publicly traded. But before we get into the transaction details, let's take a step back and see why this guy might be called the Candy King. So if you look at the brands that he owns, they fall into three main categories. One is packaged foods, so that includes things like biscuits, savory snacks, crackers, waffles, and other baked items. And then there's confectionery and beverages. That's a second big bucket. And then the third bucket is ice cream. Together, these businesses generate about $20 billion in revenue. The story goes that back in the late 90s, competition in Turkey's snack market was getting fierce. International brands were coming in and taking market share, and Murat realized that if he didn't do something, his family's traditional business might get gobbled up by someone else. Now, expansion abroad seemed like the way to go, but it was risky and it was expensive. So instead, Murat decided to try something else. He started buying up premium brands in Europe, mostly in the UK and France, and he paid in cash. In 1997, he acquired the United Biscuits brand for $630 million. This was a huge deal. United Biscuits makes brands like McCoy S and Hind and Strings, and at S, one of the biggest producers of biscuits and savory snacks in the UK. In 2000, he bought the Turkish chocolate brand, Doko. In 2003, he acquired the French biscuit maker Util, and in Arling Wu, he bought a majority stake in the British cake business, Fox's. By 2008, he controlled 40 brands and had annual sales of $6 billion, but he wasn't done. His next acquisition was going to make him the Candy King. In 2008, he bought Godiva chocolatier from Campbell Soup Company. Campbell Soup had bought Godiva just 2 years earlier. They weren't able to turn the business around, and they decided to sell it to Murat. The deal was worth about $850 million. At the time, this was the biggest ever acquisition by a Turkish company, and it was definitely a bold move. After acquiring Godiva, Murat consolidated all of his businesses under a new umbrella company called Plattis. Plattis is a contraction of the words planet and delicious, and it became one of the largest packaged foods and confectionery companies in the world. Today, Plattis reaches consumers in over 120 countries, and its brands have annual sales of $20 billion. Fast forward to 2023, and things have changed dramatically. You may remember that earlier this year there were some pretty big earthquakes in Turkey, and the Turkish currency got hit hard. But long story short, the Turkish currency got hit hard and Murat had to restructure his business. He sold off some of his assets. He sold Godiva for $1.5 billion. He also sold United Biscuits for $2.2 billion. He took Plattis private by buying out the public shareholders, and he delisted the stock from the Borsa Istanbul. We don't know the exact timing of all these transactions. But Plattis still has $16 billion of debt on its balance sheet. So maybe some of these moves were designed to delever it. But the point is, regardless of the reason, he sold off some of his most famous brands, and now he has a much smaller business. But the thing to note here is that even though he sold off some of his biggest brands, the core of his business is still in packaged foods and confectionery. And he still has a lot of the same brands that he had before, only now they're all his. And so in the end, I think this is a lesson in humility. No matter how big your business is, no matter how invincible it might seem, always be prepared to pivot, because the world can change quickly, and you need to be ready to adapt. When we think about what made Plattis so successful, I think there are a few key ingredients. First, Murat identified a problem that needed solving. He saw that the snack industry was getting competitive and that international brands were gaining share. Second, he had the courage to take bold action. He could have tried to compete head-on with the international brands, but instead he went and bought them. Third, he focused on creating value rather than just making money. He reinvested his profits into growing the business and acquiring new brands. And fourth, he built a great team. Around him, surrounded himself with smart, talented people who shared his vision and values. Together, they were able to create a snack powerhouse that reaches consumers all over the world. For our purposes, the important takeaway is that luxury and mass market don't have to be opposites. You can create products that are both globally scalable and carry high margins. You just have to be willing to invest in making it happen. If you enjoyed this episode, you'll love the next one. See you soon.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe, like, and comment so others might find and enjoy these videos. Go to description below for more resources and information. Thanks for your time.